So live on a First Friday edition of Cleveland Browns Daily. I am merely Beau. He is the great Z. The team in Canton at the home of the future Hoff.
Yeah, and they picked a home of the future Hoff and probably some future Hoffs on the roster as well. No report as to yet as if Myles Garrett did go into the Hall of Fame. He said he would not go in. Right? He said he won't go until he's inducted.
That is, I love Myles. That's a pretty Myles stance.
It's great.
Yeah,
there's no doubt.
It's very much on brand.
Yeah. But they had a very light practice, if you could even call it a practice, kind of a jog through, which I'm sure they're pleased about because it's quite hot out. It's quite hot out. And, folks, this is how you know that becoming a peepaw has changed Gibbe.
Yes, for sure.
Because in our rundown in the opening segment, we've got some bullets on news and this, that, and what other. And then listen to this last one. This is a direct quote. I'm going to read it verbatim.
Read it verbatim.
We make jokes about the weather all the time. Today is no joke. Hydrate. If you don't have AC but know somewhere you can go where they do have it, go. Take care of one another. Peepaw. The end.
Just for the record,
that's beautiful.
Just for the record, I tee off at 5:15 today. I am slugging beers like the world's ending.
Hold on. What about this soft, sensitive side? Take care
Everybody
of one
else,
another into
take
the
care
Cleveland
of
Browns Daily.
Me, I'm going out with a bang, kids.
No.
It's been a great run.
Shocking.
Stop saying that, Gibbe. We need you around.
So it is, by the way, there's 200,000 people without power in Columbus.
That aren't going to get it until Friday, I feel like.
It's Thursday at 11:59 at night. The two hottest days of the year. I have no idea. Apparently they stopped it because they turned it off so it wouldn't overload the grid because of some of the stuff that happened in the storm. Their workers are working around the clock to try to get it done. Of course, it's not on them, but it's just a crazy thing. 200,000 people in a city like that without power in 98 degrees.
And by the way, there's more bad weather coming tomorrow.
What do we got tomorrow now?
Cold front coming through. Severe weather. Probably right in the middle of practice tomorrow.
What?
Yeah. 70%.
We
got to be flexible for
and
tomorrow.
And then we're down
kids.
to how about this? I'm just looking at the 10-day. 95 today, 90 tomorrow, down to 80, 69 and sunny on Saturday, which is actually probably going to feel really
lovely,
nice.
Yeah.
Then 75, 82, 93, 91. Next Tuesday, 93 degrees.
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy. So tomorrow we got thunderstorms in the area. Hail and damaging winds.
Yeah, I told you. It's going to get a little dicey tomorrow.
Yeah. I mean, the globe ain't pleased, boys. It ain't pleased. We have forest fires in Alaska in June. That's never happened. Lake Mead right now is at 30%. Lake Mead.
Yeah, it's not good.
That's an important water.
Yeah.
30%. There is this flooding in Montana, 50 feet. So there's this image of this house that gets washed away. That house is 50 feet above the Yellowstone River. The water level, the Yellowstone River in that gorge is up 50 feet of water level.
I didn't realize that. I saw it go, and I was like, okay. I mean, I've seen houses go.
Sure, yeah.
It sucks.
No. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. And we've got what we've got.
When are they going to reopen Yellowstone?
I don't know. I mean, not anytime soon. There's only two ways in from the north, and they're both done. So
that's where my man Simsei is supposed to be going.
Where's he flying into?
He's currently in Montana right now.
Why did you not consult me on this? I could have helped him.
Because
wherever
he is, by the way,
gear, doesn't he?
Wherever it is, it's snowing. Wherever he is right now, it is snowing.
I mean, that's in play if he's at elevation. I mean, that's absolutely in play if he's in glacier.
I don't know. I'll ask him right now.
I mean, I could have helped him. I could have given him places to stay. I could have told him where to play golf. I could have told him what to do with family. I could have helped him with all of that. Restaurants. I mean, I got to tell you, Simsey's a lot of disrespect. I was promised a hoodie at one point. No hoodie ever came. Never came. Now he's in my state and doesn't ask for advice. It's outrageous.
I just texted him. I said, "Where are you in Montana?" Beau said he wasn't sad. He wasn't consulted.
Disrespected.
I was going to say, use the proper terminology.
Yes, disrespected that I wasn't consulted by this. This is absurd. Absolutely absurd.
If you're going to someone's backyard, maybe you want to ask.
I know.
I know that he's on a trip though that he didn't plan. So it's a multiple it's a multi-family trip that was planned by his wife's family. So like he wasn't necessarily. This isn't like his trip that he's authoring.
It gets him
Do you
out
know
of
what
a
I'm
little
saying?
bit of the damage. Sure.
Do you know what I'm
yes.
saying?
He's in
Right.
He's in the OC a little bit, so I get it. But I mean, there's
yes.
he's in the OC, so I
Yes.
get it. But I mean, still, I could have given him a couple of get out of jail free cards along the way that would have helped him, without question. He's got to be Glacier for the snow. It's not snowing in Big Sky.
So
Why would you go somewhere where it's snowing in June?
Well, it's not supposed to be fair. I mean, it snowed yesterday in Mexico City, for perspective. Like, have you seen that the images of
I have
Mexico
not.
City? Yeah, there's like a foot of snow in Mexico City in the
Oh,
streets.
good.
what is the deal?
Wasn't here.
The Earth is pissed.
It is.
It's had enough.
Well, I'm gonna try to see if I can.
Hey, it's been a good run for all of us.
Really has been.
I mean,
All right. Let's see. Proof of snow. Now they're on to Wyoming. Bye-bye,
He's
Montana.
southern Montana. He's
Yeah.
so he's yeah. He
So-
could have been Red Lodge or he could have been Granite Peak, something like that.
where are they going?
Now
He's
they're
all
on,
around Yellowstone.
They're
That's where
on to
he's at.
Wyoming now. They were in Montana. Now they're on to Wyoming. 320 Guest Ranch. Is that feels like that's at Wyoming or is that?
I got nothing on
You got
320
nothing.
Guest
You don't know
Ranch.
what that is.
No, I
Okay.
don't know where that is.
Are they
That's-
like? Is
there's-
it like city slickers? Are they
So
doing
they're-
their own
that's-
cattle drive or something?
This feels like they might still. That was maybe where they were in Montana. So it appears to be just south of Bozeman.
Yeah, so he's driving down the Gallatin. I mean, that river is at full capacity. The Gallatin River.
Okay.
Yeah, so he did like city slickers is what he did.
Yeah.
So the 320 that's south of that is in the Gallatin Valley. That's on the
So
way
that's
to Big
where
Sky.
it was snowing.
Yeah,
I'm
I mean, it's
guessing.
in play. That's wild.
Yeah.
You're at elevation, so yeah, it can happen.
What kind of elevation is it there?
I would say he's probably at that spot. He's probably 6,000 feet, 6,500 feet.
Okay, it's not crazy though. Like we
No,
were in,
but I
in
mean,
Aspen, and we were
he's down on the river. I mean, you got to go up to get to the ski hill,
sure,
and then you get to 11 or 12.
which is right,
but-
Aspen. But we had beautiful weather, or Vail.
Sure.
I'm saying Vail.
Yeah, but it could. I mean, Vail could get snow too if it got a front in the middle of summer.
Yeah, for
That's
sure.
in play.
It snowed, I think, the week or 10 days before we went.
Yeah, crazy.
I'm done with snow, bro. Like, forget
Yeah,
it. I got
it is
no
pretty
interest in
cool when you go to Glacier in the summer, and it'll be like 75 degrees out, and you can stand on like 12 feet of snow and run around because it doesn't melt.
Yeah, that's fine.
That was fun. That's
I
fun.
I feel bad for Simsay now. Number one, OC slightly. Number two, he left Cleveland
And it's
in
98
a heat wave,
in a heat wave for snow.
to go into snow in June
Yeah, that's a lot.
in this country.
Yeah, and now that the fact that he's headed, I've never heard of an OC road trip. That seems like a bridge too far. Like, okay, go to the guest ranch, do it around on the horses.
Yeah.
All that. Okay, fine. Then get on a plane and come home. Like the fact that it's extending to another state.
Feels-
Now, to be fair, he's not that far from Wyoming.
Sure.
And he's going to go through West Yellowstone is where he's going to go if he's headed south. So
That's right.
how that's going to go. But that feels like a lot.
Well, yeah, and when they went hiking, they did some hikes, and they had to take bear repellent. Which,
Sure, you did. Yeah.
That sounds pretty intense.
Yeah, that's a must. Well, you remember when they played that at Moonlight Basin? The bear was out there.
How do you repel the bear? Was it something
pepper
that?
spray? Yeah.
So you're like trying to cause it harm to run away.
Yeah, for sure.
That feels like dicey. That feels like
You
a
got to
little
bet. You better
dicey.
make sure you hit. I think always you're going to be fine. My philosophy on all of that was I just didn't want to ever be the slowest person in the group.
Sure.
So that was it. Like I always just make sure there was a small child or a elderly person that I could for sure outrun. That was really all I hoped. As long as I had that, I was fine.
a
Until
bad
I
look,
am that
Beau.
guy. Until I am that guy, and then you better make sure you have some pepper spray on you.
Just load up, pack up,
Yeah.
be packing.
Yeah, they'll leave you alone unless they're the only ones that mess with you is if you surprise them with their cubs, or if it's like an elderly male that can't get food, that has struggle getting food,
It's
then
like, I'm
they
gonna
come
eat
out. Yeah, they come out and then they're not in the best mood. Those are the two instances, the things you got to worry about a little bit.
Yeah, I had one. Have I told you my one bear encounter that I had my whole
No.
life? Okay. So I was in high school. I think this one would be say my junior year. Our basketball coach was a little bit of a punk. I liked him, but he was a little bit of a
But
punk.
you didn't play the senior year, so
No, that's
he
when I became
contributed
full.
to that, right?
100%.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is still the year that I am playing, junior year. So instead of we would have like conditioning all like off season,
Yeah.
which was brutal and nobody liked it. So I was like, I'm going to run cross country. Like, how could you get mad at me running cross country?
Smart on your part.
And I'm not dealing with you.
Now I'm not under your yoke.
Exactly. So, and it's like, you can't say I'm not getting in shape. I mean,
Right, I'm running.
running.
It's literally cross country. I'm running across the country.
So I do that. We go on like a cross country retreat to Tahoe.
Yeah. Lovely.
And I was like the kind of cross country runner. I was not fast. I wasn't good at it. I wasn't necessarily trying to be good at, but like my ability in the once I could visually see the finish line, I was like, I ran like the wind blew. That's the hard part about cross country. It's like, go run up this hill, run around these mountains, and then
when's it end?
Like, right, 3.5 miles later.
Right.
I think is what the minimum was.
Yeah.
But like once I saw, like I could see it.
Yeah.
Let's get this thing over with. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes in the deep of the wild, I was prone to doing some walking and just soaking it all in. Like I wasn't there to try to like win.
No,
I was there to not be doing conditioning.
So we're trying to make the Olympics.
Right, exactly. By the way, we have to talk about the Olympics in just a second. So we're in Tahoe, and I'm getting kind of close to the finish line. I know that, so I'm like starting to pick up my pace a little bit, and I end up running on this. We're on this path. And on both sides of the path, I would say it's like a path that's carved out of like the trees and like there's brush, but the brush is probably like 4 or 5 feet high on either side of the path. And so you're kind of run through these meadows, trees, and brush and whatever. And all of this, I'm running, and I just heard something behind me, like
sure you did,
in the brush, which made me stop.
Sure,
because I'm like,
uh-huh.
And now you're probably going to check me on my bear, but I think I have it right. I think it was a brown bear. Would that make sense?
So it probably would be black or a grizzly, I would think. I don't know if there were brown bears in that part. It could be. Usually Alaskan brown bears,
could have
which
been,
are enormous. Like grizzly bears are really the ones that were most dangerous where I grew up. They're pretty aggressive.
Okay.
They have like a distinct hump on their back, and they have a brownish silver.
Black bears. So it was a black bear.
Probably a black bear, yeah.
Yep. Okay, so a black bear. Big. Big. Apparently there's a bear known as Hank the Tank that terrorizes Lake Tahoe, 500-pound black bear.
Yeah, that seems about right.
So anyway, this black bear comes out of the brush.
Yeah.
I'm on the path. Nobody else is around. Okay? I've come to
Are you in last place?
No, I'm probably near the end. But like at the same time,
I love that you did this. I would have done this 100 times out of 100. I love your philosophy in this cross country thing. Just as an aside,
but I was actually moving at this point until I come to this complete stop. The bear comes out. It now stops and looks at me.
Sure.
And it's probably like from me to that beam, so not far, like
less than 20 feet.
Yeah. And it looked at me, and I looked at it. And I was like freaking out.
Yeah.
And I was like, if this thing like stands up, I'm supposed to like go like, right. You know,
be big.
Be big. So it just keeps looking at me. I look at it, and then it must have heard something because it like started to raise up, and then it like stopped and looked around and then sprinted off into the brush again. And then I ran like the Dickens. I was like Forrest Gump. I sprinted back, like sprinted.
A little bit of adrenaline shot.
Screaming. Yeah. And after that, I was like, I have got no interest in bears whatsoever. And then that night, I do remember that night, there was a couple of like cross country teams up there, and you know me, I'm a social person, mingled, and met some friends to go hang out with, and I ended up hanging out too long. And I remember coming back, and Mr. Wilder was a cross country coach, who's obviously my dad was the dean of the high school. Let's not forget that. So good friends with my dad, and I got like busted trying to like come back in way late.
Way late, yeah.
And he hit me with this, and everybody knows the line, but like when it actually happens to you, and I think the person's sincere when they mean it, it really hurt. He's like, I'm not mad at you, but I'm really disappointed in you. And I was just like, oh, Mr. Wilder, come on. I was just out there trying to live. Like I almost got eaten by a bear. So now I'm trying to, you know, like trying to live a little bit.
How
right?
many
Trying
days
to mingle
do I
with
have
the people, you know, inter-school relations, like trying to foster, you know, some betterment of those things. And then he hit me with that. So it was like the funny thing is the bear was less scary than him saying that you so disappointed in me. And I still remember it to this day.
It's a hell of a line.
Oh God! And he
meant
it
when
with
he means it breaks you. Yeah,
full sincerity.
Sure.
And then of course I got a phone call.
Yeah.
Getting yelled at. I'm like, but Dad, a bear almost ate me. Like,
yeah, come on, Dad. The brilliance of you on the cross-country team to avoid the off-season basketball conditioning, though, is so next level.
Oh, yeah, because you want to know what the conditioning was? So he told – I remember we were like – they were getting started in the program, and he told the team, if anybody can cut me like 2x4s and wrap them in carpet, cut them into like pieces, like foot-long pieces and wrap them in carpet, we won't have suicides for the next like 2 weeks or something. So my buddy Soon's dad was like a carpenter and like a handyman and a construction guy, and so he built these immediately. So we had all of them green carpet. That was our colors. And guess what? How many do you think he wanted? One for everybody on the team. Duh, should have been a warning. Light bulb should have gone off. This is a trick. This is a trap.
Oh, no. He's going to have you push those on the gym floor?
That's right. So instead, he said, we don't have suicides anymore. Ha-ha. Now we have what he called them like floor cleaners. And so you had to do suicides pushing the 2x4 that was wrapped in carpet to the free throw back, half court back,
other free throw,
like over and over and over. By the way, horrible for your back.
Terrible.
Okay. And so that's what I was like, you know what? I'm running cross country.
Good for you. I've never understood why basketball coaches just don't use basketball for conditioning. Just make them play. If you have 10, make them play full court for
he did
15 minutes up and down and make everything a fast break. Do that drill 3-on-2-on-1 where they have to run the whole time. That's all you do. You don't the idea that if you don't run a line or push some stupid 2x4, there's 1,000 ways to condition, man.
That's right. That's right. By the way,
it's most effective when they don't know they're doing it.
Sophomore year, he was our JV coach, and we all loved him, and all we did was scrimmage, and we were really good.
Yeah.
And we were all in really good shape because he played pro in Europe, and so he would play and take, like, the bottom 4 guys and then play, like, the starters, and they'd rotate in, and it would end up being pretty good games, but we were all in great shape.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden we go to varsity, and it's like, no, now we have to push
now we have to do nonsense.
Carpet
now
around.
I'm Bob Knight.
Yeah.
Settle down.
Had no time for
Oh, that sucks.
I'd razz him a little bit in my announcing, too.
Good for you.
Yeah.
I like that you stick it to him.
Sometimes I would. His last name was Whitworth, and sometimes I'd accidentally mispronounce it as Twitworth.
I love that.
Especially if you got a T. Be a technical foul on Coach Twitworth.
Hate to see it.
Don't like that. You don't like that. I would have been great calling this guy's games, though. I have a feeling.
Yeah, Give's games would have been legendary.
God.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, again, not much of a scorer.
No,
defensively
no.
and blocking shots.
I can't imagine many rebounds got past you.
No.
And if I just got frustrated, it became dirty.
Least surprising statement of the day, right there. That's how that went. So as we mentioned, the Browns were down at Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium. Very short, ultra hot, short walk through, 30 minutes. Didn't have the helmets on. Apparently the team watched A Football Life, Jim Brown, on the way down to Canton. And then after practice, a lunch at the Hall of Fame. They're meeting Bob Glauber and also Keyshawn Johnson. I didn't know Keyshawn was involved in this book. The book is about
I think he was joining them
four.
remotely.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize he was involved in the book, though, either. The book is about the Forgotten Four. The members, Marion Motley, Bill Willis, his family's in attendance as well. You guys didn't go down there. I was down there for lacrosse. I think I said this maybe, Z, when you were out. What McKinley did in honor of Marion Motley is awesome at the high school facility.
What did they do?
McKinley Bulldogs. Well, they have an athletic center down there, and it's there's all the windows, and it's basically a museum to Marion Motley, who I think sometimes people forget what that dude was all about.
Totally. I will plead my ignorance before when I first, came in the organization, and then you read up on, and you're wow.
Whoa, yeah, right.
Whoa.
So that was really cool. And Bill Willis starred Ohio State and here, so that's awesome that those families were there. They had tours of the Hall of Fame before heading back here a little bit later. I think the Hall of Fame's got to be a humbling thing if you're one of those. I mean, it's awesome. Period.
Yeah.
But for one of those guys, it's got to be humbling to walk the halls and see the history of all of that. And I love the fact that these guys are learning the names Marion Motley, Bill Willis. If they didn't know him, it's important that they do. From a practice update, Anthony Schwartz did not make the trip to Canton. He is sick, according to Coach. Jack Conklin, Greedy Williams, Jakeem Garrett, Stephen Weatherly, all working out on the side with trainers today.
Yeah. And Jakeem Grant did it yesterday, and Greedy did yesterday as well. Weatherly participated yesterday, and then Conklin, as we know, is still continuing to try to get back after that gruesome torn patella that he suffered against the Ravens.
Yeah. I had it's very interesting. I was thinking your story about leaning into the cross country, all of this. So right now, Bootsy he's been a week out of school, and he's not being as active as the brothers. The brothers are quick to go play basketball or go to be outside, and so I've talked to them and I've said, look, like, come on, dude, like, get out there. And then I've talked to them and I said, look, encourage to take him out there. So they tried. So this morning, Beamsy was like, look, we're going outside. We're going to go play some hoops. And Bootsy, like, I looked out the window, and he's basically just standing there. So they come back in, and Beamsy's just sweating, right, because he got a good work in, and Bootsy hadn't. So I'm using this peer pressure angle on him. So I'm like, well, I bet little Joey's working out. He's probably getting better today.
Yeah,
he's not sitting here trying to play on some screen. I bet he's outside. I bet he's getting a little work in, working on his ball handling. You going to be an athlete? What are you going to be? This type of stuff. So in the beginning, he was like,
what I'm going to be is the king.
We're getting there. So then he goes. At the beginning, he was like, I don't like you joking about that. What are you going to joke about that, Dad? He doesn't even know how to shoot the basketball right, like that type of stuff. Because I don't know. I don't even know. They're 5. Like, who knows? So then today I said to him, I go, your brothers are out there. Why aren't you doing this? And I said, what do you think? You're going to be a gamer? And he goes, yeah, Dad, that's what I want to be, a gamer. And I went, I've lost.
Pretty lucrative.
It's very lucrative business.
I believe a couple weeks earlier it was YouTube sensation.
Yeah, YouTube sensation. Like he's trying to get into all
of
that
world. But those can be the same. They can be one and the same.
He could be one and the same. You told me about this ninja person and all these people that make all this money doing it.
Tons. Cypher PK.
Yeah, and I just
Allie.
I'm just not in. I can't wrap my head around it. But that was he's ready with the comeback today.
Bootsy is going to ultimately be a man of leisure. So, and I think he knows that right now. So he's like, yeah, I like the competing, and I'm going to do that when I want to do it, but I'll do it when I want to do it, period. And it's funny, you mentioned 5-year-olds when I said I was going to circle back to the Olympics to talk about this. And I don't know if it was like this in Montana at all.
Yeah.
But so the kid had his buddy, the Bully Bullion, who came by, who lives up there in the Vail area.
Yeah.
His daughter is 5.
Okay.
Just won her first alpine competition.
Okay.
And is like he thinks, they're telling me she's got like Olympic potential. Like that's how good she is as a 5-year-old skier, which is hard for me to get my head around, but she just won her first like big competition. And like he's serious about it. I think they're spending like 5 figures in training every year on her.
Yeah.
He said there was a big storm, and they just went and, like, he has a Sprinter van, and they just, like, followed this to get fresh powder, and him and his 5-year-old were out there, like, just free ski. And I'm like, wait, what? I don't even understand what's going on here. But that's got to be an insane life.
She'll be burnt out by 12.
Yeah, it's a lot.
And apparently there are a lot of really good kids there. Like,
well, sure. I mean that would be where it's nurtured.
People move to do it.
Yeah, you move there to do it would be it. I would say, and I'm sure your nephews could attest to this, I mean, the amount of people I know who spend $5,000 a year training their kids in various activities is a long list.
Yes.
Like this is what people do. It's insane, but it's what they do. It's hard for me to imagine like it. I had a conversation with a basketball coach of some note about this, and we were talking about hoops, and he said, look, nobody can tell anything till they go through puberty.
That's right.
So you don't know how fast they're going to be. You don't know how strong they're going to be. You don't know how tall, what the weight. You have none of that. So, like, yeah, there's certain skills that you can build when they're young. There's certain skills that you can build up. Sure. And there's a residual value of that. But at the same time, like, until they go through puberty, it doesn't really mean anything. So the idea of, like, a 5-year-old winning a downhill event versus other 5-year-olds, who knows? What if the little girl turns out to be 6'5" and she can't navigate skis? What if she's 5'1" and she can't generate enough speed? Like, there's certain things that are just out of her control. So she can have all the technical skills she wants, but the notion that you could identify, that's the stuff that people tell you, though. That's the grossness of youth sports, is people tell you, and we're using this as the example, but this happened. I've seen this absolutely firsthand in soccer, in basketball, less so in football, but certainly those two sports I see it a lot. See it in baseball all the time. People tend to say, "Oh, your kid's special," but I can make him more special. No, you can't. Not right now. Not at age 7.
It's funny because when we were kids, I played every sport. I'm sure you played every sport.
Yeah.
He played every sport. I didn't know anybody who was like getting special coaching.
No.
And quite frankly, there are a lot of pros that came out of the leagues that I played in and did just fine. And like I said, people weren't specialized like that. Like he was saying his daughter was skiing. I think he said he and his daughter skied 150 days last year, which there's only, and the other guy who was with him was like, there's only 180 ski days like in Colorado, period. So
he was out there every day.
Basically, I mean,
Yeah, it's a lot.
Putting a lot on a 5-year-old. And maybe it's
she's good. She wants to do it. I mean,
they all want to do it. Every kid wants to do it at that point because they know what they want because they're kids.
Right.
Just like my kids with basketball. They're like, do you want to play in another league? Yeah, can't wait to play in another league.
I just want to see this kid ski because, like,
what does that mean?
I'm terrible on skis.
Right.
I am like it.
I can't Bishop, what is the most popular thing right now at the BAC, the Bishop Athletic Complex?
Mm-hmm.
Hoops.
Oh, the hoops. I mean, the games are fast
sport
and
court
furious.
is quite nice.
We're rolling. We had a very furious game of full court 21 last night. Me versus it was, how 21 is. We just do it full court.
Yeah.
So we had a very furious game of that. I can only shoot threes. I can't drive on them, so I can only shoot threes. That's the way to even it out. So that's something that happens all the time.
Are you getting into mid-season form?
Oh, the jumper's wet. I mean, it's just the thing. They're dropping like crazy. Yesterday I hit like my first 5, and Beamsy goes, "Well, Dad, you're making all your threes." And I said, "Well, where do you think you got it from?"
Yeah.
I mean, how do you think where do you think
that's gotta be fun
from?
for you though, too, shooting the ball and getting back into the rhythm?
It's the most fun.
I couldn't even tell you the last time I shot a basketball.
To like dribble down at a decent pace
Yeah.
and hit a pull-up jumper is pure joy.
Get a good sweat.
It's as
going.
much fun as
Nice
you'd want it to
workout.
be.
Yeah.
No, it's.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm taking full advantage, and it's fun for them, but I love it too. It's wonderful.
Can Beamsy beat Black Cobra yet?
No, not at a no.
No.
Not
even once. Okay.
No.
It's a big. I mean, a couple of years is a big
Yeah,
deal.
it's 2 years.
It's a huge deal at that age.
Yeah. Like if they're fully engaged, I don't think so. I think, if you're messing around maybe, but like okay, let's go. Probably not.
Could you beat him just in like shooting, like a straight shooting?
Oh
contest?
no,
definitely not.
No, no, because the other thing that happens is on a 10-foot rim, the 10-year-old can shoot threes and make them, and the 8-year-old can't.
Yeah.
So like his range is 15 feet and in.
Sure.
So he can't. When you only have to guard 15 feet and out, when you have to guard to 22 or 20 feet,
yeah,
it's tough. When we go twos, I lower the other hoop for Bootsy. It's Bootsy and I versus those two. I lower one of them to 8, and then we go full, and they can only get 1 steal and 1 block on Bootsy over the course of a game.
Do you ever dunk on him?
Of course I do.
Yeah, that's great.
Are you kidding?
Yeah.
Little breakaway. Yeah, you got to do that. All right, Coach Stefanski talked after practice today down at the Hall of Fame. We will have that for you. It looks like did David Bell talk today as too?
Yep.
You see that?
Yeah, we got some exclusive audio from down at the Hall of Fame.
That'll be very good. And we'll also have a one-on-one with Joe Woods on the program today as well. Lots of fun on the program, as you could probably guess. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Your business is shopping for an enterprise operating systems partner. You don't know where to begin. Well, I do. My friends at EOX Vantage. They're data scientists, also business ops experts. Your EOX Vantage team not only builds and installs your system, they act as your ongoing tech support. So you're hiring a continuous improvement and support system. EOX Vantage is not tied to any single brand of hardware or software, so you're getting a truly customized, purpose-built solution, along with a partner that answers only to you. And EOX Vantage does not outsource. All the operational expertise, proprietary solutions, and tech support come from one unified partner. See how companies have profited from hiring one fully objective operating systems partner at EOXVantage.com. Here's Coach Stefanski from down at the Hall of Fame. Let's have a listen.
Okay, good to see you.
You guys are down 6 minutes.
The Pro Football Hall of Fame for being gracious host to us down here. Again, like we've talked about, such an amazing venue with the history of football in our backyard, so we're very appreciative of them having us down here. On our ride down, each bus got to watch a football light in Brown, which I've seen before, but just felt it was important that the entire team saw that. And then we'll head in here for lunch. We're going to have a presentation by Keyshawn Johnson and Bob Glauber on their book, The Forgotten First. And we're very happy that we have members of Bill Willis and Marion Motley's family here as well. So really trying to take advantage of every one of these practices, really every one of these minutes, just to remind ourselves, me as well, our players, just of everything that's come before us with just the NFL, but our storied franchise. So trying to connect that. And then got some good work in here. Like we talked, it was going to be brief. I thought it was good work. It's warm out here. And then we'll finish up tomorrow down at the stadium. With that, I'll take any questions.
Kevin, why do you think it's important for these guys to know their roots?
I think it's important, honestly, Tom, for all of us in any walk of life to know the people that walk that path before you. You know, my job as a head coach of the Cleveland Browns is finite. I won't have this role forever. And I know people have come before me. I know there will people that come after me. And just trying to learn about the past and respect the past, I just think is so important.
Is there anything particular or any nuance of the past that stands out to you more than any about the Browns?
Well, I would say a lot does, and we've been spending some time as a team learning about that and what it means to be a Cleveland Brown and really the ethos of that. We've been digging into that, but I just think it's such an important franchise, talking about 1946 and 1964, and having Lou Groza spanning both teams, and just kind of trying to go to school a little bit with our team and understanding who those statues are outside our stadium, because it's pretty important stuff.
I got two questions for you, Ken.
When the team is assigned to play in the Hall of Fame, it's an additional activity before that. Would you find value in that?
I've coached in it before with the Vikings. We came down here, I think, in 2014 or so. I thought it was an awesome experience just being here. A couple years ago, my family and I went on a road trip, and we stopped through Canton and had an awesome time in the museum. And again, we're a family of football fans, and just getting close to the game was so cool. So it's a unique opportunity to get down here in this setting, but certainly when you are fortunate enough to play in that game, I think you can really take advantage of your visit as well.
Preparing your team for the season, is that additional game and edge?
Potentially. You know, I think there's so much you can do now, Tony, with joint practices. So I don't think there's a shortage of opportunities to get your team ready.
Can I get two questions about coming down here? Do you think the young guys appreciate stuff like the football life and the presentation that they're going to get?
I mean, you hope so. You know, I think it's very easy for all of us to get lost in our phone and stare at that thing all day. So just ask them to put it away for 45 minutes on the ride down here, and then we'll get a great presentation again from Keyshawn and Bob Glauber, just really trying to further our understanding of what's come before us.
And for you personally, coming down here, does it kind of remind you that you have the same job that Paul Brown once had?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's hard to think like that. It's hard to let your mind go there because you have a job to do. You kind of would slow down if you thought about the you know, somebody like that's come before you. But certainly, I'm very respectful of the people that have been before me.
Kevin, Myles Garrett said the other day at an event that he did not want to tour the Hall of Fame until he's actually in the Hall of Fame. So just wondering what the approach is with Myles today.
Yeah, those type of things, Mary Kay, I'll keep internal, but I understand his feelings on that.
So you won't tell us if he's going in?
I won't.
Do you think Jeremiah is ready to take a big jump this year after what was some glimpses he showed as a rookie?
I do. I think he's had a good off season. He's working very hard as he does, but like any sophomore, there's hopefully a step, but that just comes from a greater understanding of what we're doing schematically, a greater use of technique, those type of things. So he's working hard.
Tomorrow's practice at the stadium, I'm guessing that's going to be a full workload. Usually that final minicamp practice is the let's get our work and get out of town, but because today's the shorter day, you're going to do a little more tomorrow than maybe you normally would?
Well, yeah, I think we'll have a good plan for tomorrow. Like you said, it is getaway day, so I'm mindful of that. But I think we do have some work that we'd like to get done. We do have some meetings that we need to get done, so I think we'll get a good workload tomorrow.
Does that replace your usual, because there's just so much going on at the stadium this summer with concerts and events and stuff, is that going to replace your normal training camp stadium?
It potentially will, yes.
Anthony Schwartz, I did not see him out there today. Is
sick.
Is there something specific you want to work on tomorrow, Kevin, since it is the last day of minicamp?
I think it's just continuing what we're doing, Jeff. I think, as you guys have seen, we've been working a ton of situational ball. So we've been in the red zone every day. We've worked third down and fourth down every single day. So it's really just a continuation of that.
I know it's early, and it's a fun day, and you got shorts and helmets. But what are you able to take notes on with some of these players this early, as they're some of these young guys and newer guys looking to earn a spot on this roster?
It's a good question, Cam.
Back in 30.
I would tell you we have a lot of young guys that we're excited about. There's so much that goes into this. There's so much from a meeting standpoint. There's so much from the workouts and being out here in practice. So we throw a lot at them. It's hard for me to single one guy out, but we're real excited about the young guys. And I would tell you just from it's as much to do with what they can bring on the field with off the field. I think they are guys that understand what we want to get accomplished, how we want to work.
Yep.
All right, there's Coach down in Canton today at the end of practice on what seems like a pretty fun day down in Stark County. Coming up next, we will go around the league. You have that to look forward to, which is nice. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. The Bath Authority can give you the bathroom of your dreams. You can transform your current bathroom into a custom bath for a spa-like experience. Let the Bath Authority make it a reality for you at a fraction of the cost of the competitors. The Bath Authority is our area's premier bath and shower remodeler. If you need a tub-to-shower conversion, they can help you with that. They are factory-trained experts. They will install it for you. They'll do it for you in about a day. For $500 off right now, your next custom bath or shower, give them a call at 216-220-8399 or go to thebathauthority.com. Again, it's where affordability meets quality. Superior products, expert installers at the Bath Authority. Again, $500 right now off your next custom bath or shower model at the number 216-220-8399 or go to thebathauthority.com. As we go around the league, CBS Sports' Josina Anderson was here in the facility yesterday among the media that was here and had some chance to talk in the wide receiver room, specifically to Amari Cooper. Here is part of that conversation from CBS Sports' Josina Anderson and Amari Cooper.
He is the next biggest star on the team and someone that is having to deal with the challenge, obviously, of developing a new rapport with Deshaun Watson and also with Jacoby Brissett. But being the four-time Pro Bowler that he is, he underlined been that hard, just kind of adjusting to the different tempos and the way that the balls come to him. He's remarked at the fact that Watson and he have developed a really nice rapport on the field. He underlined how both of them are perfectionists and how he strives to catch 50 of 50 balls from Jacoby as he does Deshaun Watson, but that he feels like no matter what the situation is moving forward, that he will be okay. And lastly, I'll just quickly mention that last year, obviously, he was with the Cowboys and coming over to the Browns. Although he is not the elder statesman, wide receiver on this team, Jakeem Grant is at 29, that he is taking on the role of bringing some of the younger guys, Donovan Peoples-Jones, Anthony Schwartz, under his wings. The question, though, remains, Chris, does this team need a number 2 wide receiver above the skill set of a Donovan Peoples-Jones? And you mentioned the Carolina Panthers. If something happens in the future, could somebody like a Robbie Anderson be a part of that trade? Just something I'm throwing out there.
That's interesting on her end.
It is interesting on her end, and Robbie Anderson is a guy that has been a very good vertical threat in the league for the last couple of years. He fits in some ways what the team would want from that standpoint. He has been healthy, the last couple of years. He's played full seasons. He had 1,096 yards in 2020. The year before that with the Jets, he 779, 15 yards a catch. In his Jets career, he averaged 15 yards a catch. In his Panthers career, only 11 yards a catch. But somebody that would bring, an ability to stretch the field, take the top off the defense, has at least one reception of more than 50 yards every year that he's been in the league. It's an interesting name. But again, I don't necessarily know if that would be the way that the Browns would go about this. I think that, that a move for a vertical guy would come later, but if that is a way that they make this deal with Carolina work, as we continue to hear about that with, Baker Mayfield and the Carolina Panthers, then maybe, who knows?
Well, he's also the one that was not a big fan of them pursuing Baker to begin with. So there's that part of it as well. So there's a couple of layers to that one.
I wonder what that's about. I mean,
I don't know.
They would not have ever really crossed paths. I mean, certainly not from a playing standpoint. They never crossed paths.
Like they don't go back anywhere. Where did Robbie Anderson play college football?
Temple, and he was an undrafted free agent in 2016. Yeah,
There's no tie. They wouldn't have been in college football at the same time. Hardly would have crossed. Pass likely didn't. All right, here's some news from the broadcast booth. Richard Sherman officially joined Amazon's Thursday Night Football production. Sherman joins Hall of Fame tight end Tony Gonzalez as two formally announced analysts for the Thursday night pregame show, halftime, and postgame broadcast. Ryan Fitzpatrick reportedly will be added as well. Fox's Carissa Thompson reportedly will host. I am shocked that Kay Adams did not get this gig.
So what's she going to do?
I don't know. I thought that's why she left Good Morning Football, was for this gig.
I think a lot of people did. It's kind of an interesting group, right? Gonzalez, Sherman, Fitzpatrick. Gonzalez has done stuff.
Yeah, well, he was on when he left, he went right into CBS's their pregame show, the main CBS pregame
NFL
show.
Today.
Yeah, NFL Today. Yeah.
Maybe she goes to the entertainment side. She's been doing stuff with Entertainment Tonight. She's been
that's the money right there.
Yeah.
You work that the money is totally different on that. So,
yeah,
like those.
I mean, she's been doing those little side gigs.
The Entertainment Tonight extra, like those people. I don't know if they still do, but back in the day, like people were like,
Billy Bush.
"Why is Kevin Frazier leaving ESPN to go work on Access Hollywood or whatever he did. Like, go check the pay stub.
Yeah.
He went from living in Bristol, anchoring SportsCenter, to living in L.A., making probably 7 or 8 times the amount.
Crazy money.
Yeah, it is.
I feel like that, and Marshawn Lynch, they said, was going to involve Fitzpatrick. Like that's going to be a fun Thursday night. You know,
that's a lot of names. You're right. They have Marshawn Lynch too. They don't overcrowd it.
Don't overcrowd it. You know, and I loved our original Thursday night show, obviously, with Colleen Wolfe and with the Hoff and Steve Smith and Irv, and so we don't have that anymore. This will be an interesting one to kind of follow, very much a similar style of it. I got to tell you, Jason Garrett is a very nice guy. I think he's very articulate, but it just feels like that Sunday night show is just kind of out of touch with what people want. Like Tony Dungy.
So you're ahead of me here now.
Sorry.
So what's he getting?
He's going to be.
He's replacing Drew Brees.
It's going to be him and Tony Dungy in studio on Football Night in America with Maria Taylor. See, in my mind,
what is the? I don't understand that. Why wouldn't they just have Chris Sims do that?
Sims is there too.
He's going to be on the side thing
keep reading.
Again?
I've got the whole lineup.
All right, Garrett,
the
former NFL quarterback. All right, and Chris Sims. Oh God, co-host Jack Collinsworth and analyst. Well, that's going to anger from the game site. Oh no, poor Ron.
There it is.
Still, he's doing it. But so, in my mind, and I'm going to admit my bias, but the beginning or my favorite Football Night in America iteration was simply DP hosting with Dungy and Rodney Harrison, because it was those three, right? Forever.
Yeah,
correct.
And you had Dungy is an incredible guy, an incredibly nice man. I had the great fortune to be able to break bread with him and DP in New York on a couple of occasions. But DP's sense of levity and comedic timing and his just persona elevated that. And Rodney Harrison had some swag to him and certainly was a very good analyst. And you know, they could talk about the Colts Patriots stuff, and you had that. Now you've got Dungy. Jason Garrett feels similar to Dungy without the gravitas.
Vanilla.
Very. And then Chris Sims, I like Chris Sims, but he's more in kind of like does a lot. I mean, he's a good friend to us at the Combine and everything, but there isn't anybody really to elevate that and keep it fun and keep it like feeling.
I think you
current.
Well, and also what you just hit on is there's a reason, whether it's Dan Patrick or Ernie Johnson on TNT, you got to have a Stockton there, man.
Yep.
You got to have someone who can navigate and keep it fun. I think, everyone, if you think about the two best studio shows of the last 30 years, I think most people would say they are Inside the NBA and College Game Day. That those are the two. Now, College Game Day is a lot about the atmosphere, but a lot of it is the pageantry and the way that they do the show, and Kirk being a big part of that. And Kirk's going to call the games on Amazon. Those are the two gold standards. Those are the shows that win all the Emmys. Those are the shows that I think most people say are the most entertaining and are the best. They're probably the best representation of what those sports want to be at their highest level, are those two. Think about a couple of things. One, both of those shows have had, especially in their early years, had very limited casts. I mean, in the beginning, it was just Ernie, Kenny, and Chuck. Shaq came later, but in the beginning, it was just Ernie, Kenny, Chuck. Like, you don't need 70 people.
No.
Less is more.
Yes.
Same thing on the original College Game Day. It's Herb Street, Corso, Fowler. That's it. You don't need 100 people. Even now, Game Day only has 4, and Inside the NBA only has 4.
And even in those shows that you just named, even when you go back to the original threes, right?
Yeah.
You had a great point guard in Ernie Johnson, Chris Fowler. You had somebody who could provide analysis but also wasn't afraid to make fun of themselves and provided humor and lightness. So Barkley and Corso, and even Kenny the Jet Smith would do that, and their interactions would produce that. And then you had guys who could also give good analysis. So Herb Street could do that. Corso could as well. But then on the NBA, both of those guys could.
Yeah.
It feels to me like on the Sunday night game, and that's what people want. I don't see where you're getting anything other than
I don't know what you're getting.
Analysis, and I just don't see how it's going to be delivered in a fun way. Like Football Night in America, With DP on there, it was fun. It was a fun show.
Well, it was him doing highlights, which is what we want.
Of course.
Like, it's on as I'm either wrapping up dinner or getting the kids to bed. It's on in the background on the chance that I haven't seen the entire league, and you guys are coming from your game. Like, this is probably you're done with our 1 o'clock game. It's on. Here's what happened in the league because you're doing Browns games. You didn't see it all. So, like, there's still a big market of people who want to see a minute and a half highlights. Remember a couple of years ago, I started watching NFL Primetime?
Yeah.
With Berman and Booger. I'd watch it Monday morning. It's like 2.5 minutes per game highlights. It was just fun to watch the whole league in 45 minutes. I feel like I knew it better.
Yes.
I enjoyed it a great deal. Like, there's a market for that.
This is only an hour and change show.
Yeah.
You've got 15 people on an hour show.
Yeah.
Like,
and
what
two
do
of
you
them
mean?
who are one of them is miserable on his current assignment. Like, I almost think they need to bring Rodney back in there. I think, like, honestly,
if you did Rodney and Sims together,
I'd even put Sims with Jack. I'd put Sims with Jack.
With him, yeah,
because they have it's a similar vibe, right? They can both they can have some smugness to them, but also but Sims can. I think they would probably enjoy each other more than clearly Rodney doesn't enjoy that.
No. Yeah, Carissa's really good. She was great on Best Damn, but this is that's going to be a lot too because depending on what Marshawn's role is going to be, Sherman, Fitzpatrick, and Gonzalez is pretty much like Tony. From my experience watching him is very much a straightforward.
Very.
Like there's not personality. Like it's pretty much just straight.
Yeah, didn't
and a
that
handsome guy,
experiment
big
fail
smile.
with CBS? CBS wanted a bigger personality.
Yeah, pushed him.
But I think NBC likes that. I feel like they like we're refined, we're staid,
Yeah,
but
I don't know.
I'm
with you. I don't like it.
No. Same.
Yeah, I'm not with. I don't understand.
Like if they had said instead of Garrett, if they had done, even though I know he's still working, but let's say he left and decided went like Bruce Arians. Okay.
Yeah,
that would be interesting.
Well, didn't they hire Sean Payton? Wouldn't he be better than Garrett? I'm sure they don't want to commit to him.
What's Sean Payton doing, though?
He's on something. I think he's at NBC.
I don't think so.
Didn't he get a gig at Fox or NBC? He's something.
He's somewhere.
No, he's at Fox.
Fox.
He's sitting in when Jimmy Johnson is out.
Yes, that's right. He's filling in because Jimmy Johnson gets off days in season.
Yeah.
Strange. Very, very strange. All right, coming up, final hour on a First Friday. David Bell from the Hall of Fame. Z one-on-one with Joe Woods. You have that to look forward to, which is very, very nice. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Certainly a lot of bad advice out there about gambling, from secret methods to picking lottery numbers to betting big when you're on a roll. The miss can lose you money and get you in a lot of trouble. So before you wager, find out what's real and what isn't at keepitfunohio.com. As we mentioned, the Browns down at Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium in Canton, otherwise known as Fawcett Stadium, as far as I'm concerned, down in Canton. It's hard for me to call it anything other than that, although appreciative of what the Benson family did, because the renovations down there are absolutely stunning. The team was down there for a walkthrough, a tour of the Hall of Fame, a little bit of a lunch down there, kind of a team bonding field trip, and it's a great place to do so. While down there, rookie receiver David Bell met with the media. Let's have a listen to that.
One second, guys.
All right, so we'll have Bell in just a second here. We're working on that.
By the way,
David,
I got it now. I got it now. Whenever you're ready.
All right, so real quickly, David Bell's had a very nice camp, and as you've seen his kind of comfort in the playbook pickup, he has been able to play faster. But one thing that stands out, he has not dropped a pass, and I know Cammie Justice has tweeted about it. Not one pass. He has incredibly strong hands, and when you shake his hand, you will know that immediately. Whoa! David Bell, though, very impressive young player. I think he's going to play a big role in our offense as a rookie. This is him earlier today in Canton.
You're down.
And video you guys watch right now about Jim Brown.
I've watched that before, so being able to see it again is definitely cool. I grew up with my grandfather, so he used to watch all the old NFL films, and Jim Brown was definitely one of his favorite players.
Is there something that you learned about the Browns organization that you didn't know on the way here?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's definitely a lot of things. When we was watching the Jim Brown video, I didn't know that he scored 43 points by himself, so that was pretty impressive. That's something I didn't know before I got here. So being able to understand that and see, where this organization came from and where we want to be in the future is definitely something eye-opening and something that we're striving to do each and every day.
Is there somebody that if you walk around the hall, you're looking forward to kind of checking out there?
Yeah, really, I'm looking forward to check out everything. Like I said, I haven't been here at all, so I know it's going to be a cool experience to be able to see some of the cool artifacts that are in there and just to grasp the moment, because I'm pretty sure not too many people get this opportunity, to come down here.
What's it mean to Kevin Stefanski taking a day out of minicamp to bring you guys down here to give you an education in the history of not only the game but the franchise that you're playing for?
It means a lot. Obviously you can just tell that he's he wants us to be, knowledgeable about our organization and the team that we're playing for. So that definitely means a lot, and a lot of the players love that too. He's taking care of us, so when the season comes, we can be ready to go. But just to be out here, with the team again, like I said, and be able to go visit, the old artifacts and stuff like that, is definitely a good experience so far.
Dave, does it make you more proud to be part of this organization, knowing the history? You didn't know heading into the draft and then being drafted, but just in a short time knowing what you now know, does it make you more proud?
Yeah, most definitely. You always got to be proud. Understanding the history is always the most important thing, because if you understand the history, then you can, strive for the future. And that's what we're trying to do right now. We always respect the people who played before us and give those people, those flowers and those roses. And, we definitely want to play for them and continue to win for them on Sundays.
What is your biggest takeaway from these OTAs and the off-season program with just one practice left?
I think for me personally, just being able to understand how an NFL team, operates and how the daily schedule is. From college, it's obviously a different atmosphere and different experience. So being able to be around some of the vets, and they take me under their wing and teaching me the do's and don'ts of the league so far. I'm a very person who likes to, know if I'm doing something wrong or right, and those guys have been helping me throughout this process. And also understanding the playbook, that's something different from college also. So just being able to grasp that and just be around my teammates.
What have your experiences in that regard been like with Deshaun? I mean, you're working a lot with him, and he's throwing a lot to you. So what have your experiences been like?
It's been good. He's actually my locker mate, so we talk frequently. He's coaching me up a lot. Even on the off days, he shoot me a text and say, "Hey, this is what I'm looking for in this," and I make sure I correct that next practice. So it's definitely a bond that I'm trying to build, but I know it's going to take a lot to just continue to build that trust.
I mean, how valuable is that? I mean, have a locker right next to him and basically see him every single day.
Yeah, for sure. It's real valuable and real important, just to build that chemistry with your quarterback. He's not the only person I build chemistry with, also everyone on the team, but for him to be right there is definitely a good experience for a rookie like myself.
Jay, will you go to the next workout that I think Deshaun is planning another one in July for you guys as a group?
Yeah, most definitely. He talked about it briefly, but I haven't really got the details yet. But yeah, I'll for sure be there.
It's like it's Florida or something.
Yeah, I think so. I'm just what I'm guessing. Yeah, somewhere nice and warm.
Did you go to the Bahamas or was?
No, we had a rookie mini camp, so we was out here, getting to know each other, getting to know the coaches and also the facility. But from what I've heard, they said they had a good time in the Bahamas.
So will you look forward to that kind of team bonding experience where you're sort of away from campus a little bit and you guys can kind of get to know each other on a social level too?
Yeah, most definitely. I think that's one of the most important things, to be able to be comfortable with your teammates off the field, because if you're comfortable with your teammates off the field, it makes it a lot easier for them to trust you on the field and make sure that that you're accountable, to make sure you're in that right spot, when your brother needs you. So that's definitely something important.
Do you know when that's going to be?
No, I'm not sure yet. He hasn't said anything about it.
Next month?
Could possibly.
Do you think it's going to be a lot of guys like last time? Have you heard?
No, I haven't heard anything. He hasn't really went over the details yet, but I'm sure he'll reach out to everyone after OTAs is finished or mandatory minicamp is finished.
Hey, you played Greg Newsome in college and were very complimentary of him. Mm-hmm. What do you see in him now that you're? I know it's not training camp yet or anything, but what do you see from him now that you're going against him a little bit? He has a year of NFL experience under his belt.
I think just his mindset. He always comes out like he's the best player on the field, rightfully so. He had a phenomenal season last year, and also just how smart he is. You can see it like when you watch film, just the small details that he picks up on with receivers, whether it's myself or other guys he compete against, and just his knowledge of the game. I can see that just the growth from college up into his last year, and also going into his second year too.
You guys have like a friendly back and forth about your little matchup that you guys started back in college?
Yeah, we had it a few times. He talked about it, brought it up in the locker room, and we just had a little bit of chatter about it.
How do you think you've developed here early? Every time we look up, we see 18 catching the football. So how do you think things have been going for you?
I think they've been going good. I mean, I think, I'm real hard on myself, so I think the first few days, wasn't what I projected it would be. So it was just a matter of getting on my feet and getting an understanding of the plays and stuff like that. But I think each and every day I progress, and that's just something I live for, just to make sure you get better day by day, and then hopefully you can, reach that full peak potential.
David, have you dropped the ball yet?
I actually have, yeah. I don't think you guys was out here. I think it was at the first second OTA, just dropped one. So yeah.
But it seems like everything that comes your way, you catch though. I mean, that's a big part of your game.
Yeah, that's definitely the goal as a receiver. The quarterback trusts you to make those catches. They have a lot going on their plate, and it's really an easy job for us. We just got to get open, catch the ball, run the right route. So that's something that we all take pride of in the receiver room, being able to catch the ball. And throughout the camp, we have
back in 30.
Hopefully, and it will continue on into camp and also the season. Also,
are you cognizant of the fact that you think you got one ball over the entire? Do you actually think about it?
Yeah, I'm real big on myself. So when that does happen, it's uncharacteristic of myself to do that. So I take it to heart, and I make sure that, or I try to make sure that it doesn't happen again. Because every time I drop a ball, it's always one minor thing that I didn't do, whether look it in, my hands are in the right place. So usually when I drop a pass, I know why I dropped that pass.
And we now know you, sir, are a liar. David Bell did drop a ball.
He said, what, did it happen today?
No, early in camp, one of the first practices.
So I don't count that as a drop. He's going to count that as a drop. I don't count it as a drop. He tripped.
My favorite part of
so
this
he was
is
falling.
You remember the play.
I know the play exactly.
It
was a crosser. He was wide open, and as his feet, he kind of tripped, and so as he went down,
that dropped.
He dropped it, but is it a drop? Yeah, but he also tripped. It wasn't like he just dropped it just straight up willy-nilly.
He's been great.
Fantastic.
Yeah, he really has been. All right, we'll go around the sports world coming up next. Z goes one-on-one with Joe Woods at the bottom of the hour. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Rumpke Waste Recycling, family owned and operated. Whether you join them as a customer or as an employee, you'll be part of the family. Visit rumpke.com to learn more. U.S. Open starts tomorrow. Have you seen some of the images from the country club?
Of the rough and the speed of the greens and all that? Yeah, it looks like it is going to be brutally tough.
So they grew out the natural areas there. I think Pinehurst was the first one to do this.
Yeah.
Where you and I talked about this, I think, last week or maybe earlier this week.
I talked about it in Vail, all the places.
Oh, yeah. How they grow it all up, and that's the idea. And, well, this is fine. This is one of the 5. So I was unaware of this until yesterday. I was watching the Golf Channel last night. It's one of the 5 founding members of the USGA is the country club.
Okay.
How many of the other 4 do you think you can get without looking?
My guess would be it's got to be like all East Coast, old school.
One Midwest.
Yeah.
So Chicago. Chicago Country Club.
Okay. I would not have had
had
in a
that.
billion years.
Baltusrol.
Okay. I was going to say like Shinnecock Hills.
I believe Shinnecock is one.
Okay.
Yep.
Baltusrol makes sense.
Yep.
And then like.
The other one is crazy. And I'm going to have you Google the clubhouse as we're.
Like Seminole or something? I don't
know. Rhode Island, Newport Country Club. Google the clubhouse, and then you just explain to the people what you see.
It's about 20 minutes from where my sister-in-law lives.
Newport, Rhode Island.
It's a beautiful area.
Yeah, all the wealthy people in New York used to go there, which is when you see this clubhouse, you're going to go, that's impossible. It's real.
That's pretty. It's like an old, like.
It's like a French chateau.
Estate. Yeah,
it's
like
huge.
a chateau. Yeah, it sure is.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. So those were them.
Okay.
Yeah. Those are the 5 founding. But yeah, the place looks like it's going to be absolutely brutal. I think based on what I've seen this week from the players, like if you're the PGA Tour, like you should probably put Jon Rahm and Rory McIlroy on salary. Did you hear Jon Rahm's comments yesterday?
No.
I'm not interested in that. It's 54 holes. There's no cut. It's a shotgun start. That's an exhibition. It's not a golf tournament. Not interested in it. And then he let it slip. He goes, we had a long conversation with my wife. How would $400 million change our life? Like, it wouldn't change it that much. Like, when he's playing golf right now and we're fine. So he's probably made $100 million on and off the course, be my guess. But the fact that led me to believe, wait a second, he turned down $400 million, which I think could be in play. If Rory would have been the first ask,
he could have.
Rahm would be the second. I mean, he's Spanish. He was world number 1.
So here's the hard thing. So this is just a quick look at net worth and then career earnings and whatever. I mean, it says his net worth is $16 million. I'm looking for his career earnings.
It's got to be more than that.
Again, this is just a quick Google search.
Sure.
This happened the other day when I was looking up net worth on a golfer, that it was way below what it should have been.
Yeah.
So Rahm's made $33 million.
Okay.
In his career. So.
But that's just PGA Tour money. Like his sponsorship money and stuff's probably another double that.
All
so
right.
He's probably in the 60s. Your point's well taken. $400
million.
It's
not 400.
A completely different ballgame. Yeah.
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 It would change his life.
But when he said it, I said, well, wait a second. He was offered $400 million. So my guess is they went Tiger. Tiger said no. Then they went McIlroy, Rahm were the next 2 guys they called.
Yeah.
Were McIlroy and Rahm.
How awkward is it going to be tomorrow with some of these guys?
I don't know. Listen,
I don't know if it will be.
There are some of them, and
what are the pairings? Like, who are they playing with? Who's Rory playing with?
Hold on, I can tell you.
The people that are able to say, I was offered and turned it down, are the only ones in my mind that have any ability to really say anything to the other guys, right? Like, most people would do it. Most people would say, you know what, $400 million, fine, I'm doing it. I'm not rooting against anybody who plays on the LIV Tour. I don't care. I get it. They made a business decision for their families that and maybe they want to do some good with that money that they're taking from, a place that they feel may not be as good. But I'm certainly not rooting against the guys on the LIV Tour. And maybe it is an exhibition, and that's all fine and dandy, but you're still able to play those events and the majors. So you're still going to contribute, and you want to play in the 4 biggest golf tournaments of the year, you can do it. I still think my sponsorship and then kind of like team idea was a good one. If you get big corporations to say we're going to pay salaries, and they can decide what the salaries are and try to get their teams together. It's good prestige for them. But I mean, I'm shocked he turned down $400 million. That's stunning.
If that's
to
the
me.
number, that's a lot to say no to. It is.
It's stunning.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you make even if you're making $100 million, $400 million changes the game for generations.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and to say that it's hard to be a sympathetic figure when you make a comment like $400 million wouldn't change my life.
I think what he was going for, and maybe it was lost in the translation a little bit, what he was going for is money's not everything. It's what he was going for. That what he values more is legacy, and he'd even talked about like playing Muirfield, playing Arnold's tournament, like those things are things that he values, because that's really all the PGA Tour is leaning on. No one's acting like it's not the FedEx. They're peddling nostalgia. That's what they're peddling, and it's potent. But that's very clearly what it is. It's an ability to play Arnold's tournament, Jack's tournament, the Players. Like those are the tournaments of consequence on the PGA Tour.
Some of the notable U.S. Open tee times are very early tomorrow morning.
Are they?
7:18 a.m. Rahm Morikawa.
Okay.
Are in that.
7:18 they're after it.
7:29 a.m. Justin Spieth and Adam Scott. 7:40 a.m. McIlroy, Matsuyama, and Schauffele.
What time was the Rory pairing? 7:40. 7:40.
Man, it's so early.
1:25 Koepka and Scheffler. 1:47 is Mickelson, Louis Oosthuizen, and Shane Lowry. That'll be a pretty good one.
So they'll have, by the afternoon, they'll have this heat.
Yep. 1:40, right around 2 o'clock, right after them, DeChambeau, Woodland, and Justin Rose.
So they didn't put any of the live guys, the notable live guys, they didn't put them with, like, outspoken PGA guys.
Right.
Usually the U.S. Open has a pretty good sense of humor. They don't appear that they did here. It doesn't seem like they messed with anybody. Although, did you see they were making the U.K. guys, where the TaylorMade was making the U.K. guys use the bag that the night of Paul Revere's ride, one if by land, two if by sea?
What?
Yeah.
What?
There's Rory McIlroy has a TaylorMade bag that has Paul Revere's ride, the date, one if by land, two if by sea.
It's greasy.
It's coming at him. It's been a long time.
So I guess I'm looking at it right now. TaylorMade just unveiled its 2022 U.S. Open bag, and it's excellent. That for each championship, they've released a commemorative bag for its ambassadors to use. For this year's U.S. Open, they made a fantastic design that represents the Boston era. The country club in Brookline, Massachusetts, hosting the U.S. Open for the first time since 1988. They have fashioned a bag that celebrates series ties to notable events in American history, drawing inspiration from the Boston Tea Party that helped inspire the Revolutionary War. So I don't think this was like a quick thing. If you're looking at this bag, this had to be pretty well thought out.
No, they did, but it's not. The irony's not lost on me that they're having a UK guy carry it.
The bag will be put to use this week by the likes of Rory McIlroy, to your point, Dustin Johnson, Colin Morikawa, and others. If you get your hands on one, you can at TaylorMade.com for a cool $600. Actually, a pretty cool bag.
It is. Yeah, it is. It is a cool bag.
It's actually really cool.
Yeah.
At least he's not like, is Justin Rose a TaylorMade guy? Ireland, like for Rory, maybe that's a little different than if it was if they had their English
straight
guys.
England?
Yeah.
I don't know who the TaylorMade England guys would be. Would that be Rose?
I don't know.
I don't know what he plays. But I like the look of this course. We haven't seen this course in a long time. I mean, I certainly don't remember the 1988 U.S. Open.
Who won it?
No clue.
Let's look it up.
This is going to be blasphemous to many. This is my least favorite major, is the U.S. Open.
I don't know if I hate it. Curtis Strange defeated Sir Nick Faldo in an 18-hole playoff for the first of his 2 consecutive U.S. Open titles.
Strange is a kind of a well-known crud, right?
I think so.
That's the deal with him, that he's kind of a crud. Yeah.
Very interesting. The logo for the country club, apparently, at least according to this, which I'm guessing is right, is very similar to that of Oakmont. Little squirrel.
Yeah, squirrel.
Eating a nut.
Yep.
Yeah.
Everyone was big on that. Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah. Unless they're in your backyard eating things up.
No, that's not fun.
Less great.
Not great.
What were we saying? You'd asked me, what was it? Oh, how do you rank them, the 4 majors?
Oh, easy. The Open 1, Masters 2, U.S. Open 3, PGA 4.
See, I guess I should amend this because I don't like the PGA in May. I liked it in August.
Yeah, but it
and
never was the consequence of the U.S. Open.
It wasn't, but I also liked that I saw different courses. I feel like the U.S. Open's played the same courses my whole life.
Yeah, but they're like playing some, classic American courses, which is the American Championship. But they also, wasn't the U.S. Open out
they
at
did
like
Chambers Bay and stuff. That was a disaster.
It just looked gross.
Yeah, they've done a couple of those where they move it around, but it does. Yeah, it always just seems really hot to me, and I don't like how bad they struggle.
It's fine watching them struggle. It means
yeah,
it's hard.
for me, it's not. I'm like, ugh.
It means it's really,
like what was the one? Was
hard.
it at Winged Foot when they were putting it? Like it would roll off. They'd put it off the edge, and they were like that type of stuff. It always seems like there's controversy. And in the old days, I was not a big Johnny Miller fan.
Sure.
It just him and Dan Hicks. That's it. Yeah. I just never was a fan of that pairing, calling the tournament versus Nance. You got Nance on the other two, and then the AB. You always would get Peter Alice on the British, so that always kind of added to that a little bit. I'd love to see Rory win it though. He's been real chesty. I'd love to see him.
Yeah, it'd be fun. I think it would be fun for it to come down to, like, Dustin Johnson is playing.
Yeah.
It'd be fun for it to come down to, like, Rory and Dustin or Rory and Phil or something.
Oh,
like
it'd
that.
be amazing.
That would be
don't you think
awesome.
it's to play like Dustin shoots 82, 81? Like just doesn't
bails?
deal with all of this and just says, I'm out?
I don't know. I could also see him light it up just as easily.
So, FYI as well, like, U.S. Open, you've got pairings going off on the first pairing's at 6:45 a.m.
Wow, that's early.
6:45 a.m. also on number 10.
So they're flying them.
They
they're
are
everywhere.
Getting everyone through.
Yeah.
I don't see our guy.
Well, did you see, like, the cold shoulder Spieth gave Kevin Na in the practice round? Like
it's
real
pretty
cold
easy to
shoulder.
give Kevin Na the cold shoulder. Like
I know,
give it to Dustin Johnson, then we'll see.
But wouldn't you imagine, though, that, like, a guy like Kevin Na, the payday is probably very useful to him. It's not like he was out there dominating.
You illustrated
the tour.
this on Monday with the guy who finished second, who made like more money in one than he'd made his entire career
3x.
3 times. Yeah, 3 times. Like look at like Ricky Fowler. Like he's never gonna. He's done. But
he absolutely
he should go
100%
for sure. Yeah, absolutely should.
I don't know if Dustin Johnson is playing.
He said he was, unless he changed his mind, which is in play. Certainly in play.
Why would he wouldn't want the heat? Like, do you think people are we expecting Liv
here
play?
he is. He's at 136 with Webb Simpson and Matt Fitzpatrick.
We're not like expecting Live Tour players to be heckled for playing on the Live Tour.
There was a little of that with Phil yesterday. There were some people like cheering him, and then there was like people yelling, "How's the blood money, Phil?" Like there was some of that nonsense that was going on out there, as if these are the only guys who have ever done a deal with the Saudis.
Our government
does deals with the Saudis for years. Like a lot of people have businesses. I mean, come on, what are we doing? We're going to hold it against these guys versus everybody else.
Exactly.
Plenty of sports do deals. So, but I do look forward to it. I love the fact that it's on early. I mean, it's one thing about an East Coast major.
Can we actually watch it all?
I'm sure it's probably. Doesn't ESPN have the rights?
No, I saw on a tweet earlier today where it is like all over the place. So it's like on some on the Golf Channel, then some on the Peacock Network, and then some on
I was gonna say,
NBC.
That stupid
and then
Peacock
the
Network.
golf.
You got to be kidding me.
It's all over. Every day it's on like 4 different things.
But it's never.
Not
This is all back to
simultaneously.
ESPN now. It's off of ESPN, the U.S. Open now completely. They used to have the early round stuff because that's where Berman would show up. That was the only major they allowed him at. Augusta wouldn't let him come.
So according to this,
all right, here you go.
6:45 to 9:30 a.m. is on Peacock.
Yeah.
9:30 a.m. to 4 o'clock's on USA.
Oh God.
And then NBC/Peacock Fubo TV 4P to 7P. That's Thursday and Friday. It looks like
4P to 7P.
It's all over the place.
This is
4P to 7P.
4 to 7.
Look, Saturday, 10 a.m. to noon on Peacock, noon to 8 on NBC.
Yep.
Sunday is 9 to 10 on Peacock, 10 to noon on USA Network, noon to 7 on NBC.
Good Lord.
So at least they got that. And again, you can watch it all. You just got to find it. USA Network will have everything from 9:30 a.m. to 4
So
o'clock.
tomorrow morning, I'm going to be downloading the Peacock app and signing up for some free thing that I'll forget to cancel. I'll be charged $17 a month.
Basically.
That's how that's going to go.
Yes.
As I read into my crystal ball on that front. All right, coming up next, Z goes one-on-one with our defensive coordinator, Joe Woods. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland.
Welcome back to Cleveland Browns Daily. Very happy to be joined now by Browns defensive coordinator Joe Woods. And, Coach, to have a nice full offseason, something you haven't had here in your 3 years in Cleveland. What's that been like for you, your staff, and your players?
It's a new experience. We were talking about that earlier. It's nice to have all the guys back at the beginning of off season. We can take them through phase 1, phase 2, really install our system, take them through the drill work, and then everything's finalized here about what you do in mandatory minicamp. So it's been good to have all the guys here.
And what has been kind of your evaluation of the progress of this defense over the course of this offseason?
I think the progress is good. The way we're doing offseason, we're not doing a lot of banging, just in terms of being physical, and I think that's smart, just keeping the guys healthy. But I think it's been good in terms of learning our base defense, and that's what I talked to the guys actually about today, is just learning our defensive concepts. So as long as we learn our concepts, then when we get to training camp, we can make the little tweaks that we need to it.
All right, this has been pretty much a passing camp. We've heard the offensive side talk about that. But listen, it's a passing league, so that means great work for your defense. And I'll be honest, there's a lot of iron sharpening iron out there. Your back seven, I think, has been phenomenal this offseason. What have you seen when you put on the tape and look at those guys?
I agree with everything you said. For me, being a DB guy, just the opportunity to go out there and match up against some really good receivers. Denzel's had great work against Amari Cooper. Schwartz, just with the speed, Denzel's matched up against him, but all across the board, whether it's a receiver, tight end, it's just premium matchups every day, so it's been really good for us.
All right, let's start with the linebackers, because one guy that I can't take my eyes off of is Jacob Phillips. And I know JOK has been great. Anthony Walker has been great as well, but it feels like Jacob Phillips is on a path to really ascend this year. If he can stay healthy, he's got the ability, he needs to have the availability. What have you seen from him, and is he somebody that you do have big plans for?
Yeah, I definitely have big plans for Jacob. He's a guy, since we first got him here, you could see that he had the right mindset that we're looking for at linebacker. He's a leader in the huddle. He's not afraid to tell the veteran guys to listen up. And you can see him taking control out here. And he's a guy that runs sideline to sideline. He has a size and length. He's made some plays just based on that when we're in zone coverage. But I look forward to him having a great year.
And next to him has been JOK. How's he kind of progressed here in year number 2?
He's doing well. I think when you come back your second year as a rookie, you're more familiar with the system. So some of the things that we ask him to do, he is more familiar with. I think the execution is much better. And for me, it's a positive, because now I can put a little bit more on his plate.
All right, so we talked a little bit about those guys. Awak, a veteran. We know Tak, they played very well for you. Let's go to the outside in the cornerback room, because this is one of the strengths of this football team, without question. Talked about Denzel. We know who he is. He just got paid, and deservedly so. But Greg Newsome's a guy. Every time I'm out here, I say to myself, this guy's a chance to be, I think, one of the best corners in the league, period. Inside, outside versatility, and just seems to be in command out there. You talked about Jacob talking to guys. Greg's always talking to guys, saying, hey, you got to do this, and he's looked pretty darn good.
Yeah, in this league, you have to have corners to play. When you can go match up against, elite receivers in this league and play single high defense, it's an advantage. And, you mentioned Denzel. We all know what Denzel's capable of doing. We saw it last season, and then you saw Greg in his rookie season. He has some premium matchups against some of the better receivers in this league, and he played really well. He also has a versatility to move inside, so this helps us with the creativity with our package. And then what Greedy did last year when guys went down. And now we have the young guys, Martin Emerson, A.J. Green stepped in and played. But, from the corner position, we're loaded. We have a bunch of good players, and that's going to help us this year play defense.
That gives you a lot of flexibility. Use 3 of them, use 4 of them if you want, whatever you want to do to confuse the coverage. And also, because you can run with anybody out there, and you go back to Phillips and JOK, there's just so much length and speed. You mentioned Greed, though. I've noticed no shoulder harness this year. He seems to be more comfortable out there with his body and has had a very nice camp.
Yeah, Greedy's definitely healthier this year. I mean, he fought through it last year and did a great job, but now you can tell he's in good spirits. Technically, he's made some improvements that we talked to him about, but it really helps us to have him, because I always believe that defensively you want to create the matchups. You want to kind of dictate how the game's being played, and having a guy like Greedy enables us to do that.
And then you mentioned M.J. Emerson. What have you seen from the Rook so far?
He is big.
Yeah, he is.
He is big. He has extreme length. And he's already changed his body. We just talked about some of the nutrition. We talked about some of the weight gains. Sean Holds with the strength and conditioning staff. And MJ is the guy that has had the biggest change so far, just in terms of more lean muscle mass and lowering his body fat. So he's a guy, you look up in a year or two, he might be, 6'2", 200-pound corner.
Yeah, he's a big guy, and I've seen already some versatility. He's an outside guy in college, but inside, and hey, maybe this guy can cover some tight ends for you down the road. Let's talk about the back end, your safety room. Top 3 guys, all back, and Rich as well, but it really feels like Grant Delpit. They say the big leaps from year 1 to year 2. This really is his second season. I know it's his 3rd year in the league, but his second season playing. He's been phenomenal getting his hands on the ball. John's getting closer line of scrimmage where he likes it, getting his hands on the ball. Ronnie's back. How's that back end doing for you?
There's a lot of versatility, a lot of different packages we can run, a lot of different matchups that we can create. And you talked about Grant. I think Grant, coming off that injury, it's kind of one of those deals where you're trying to feel like, am I really healthy?
Yep.
So I think early on in the season, he was kind of just testing himself just to see where he was at. And then once he got comfortable, you could see his playmaking ability show up. And so far this offseason, you can see he's more confident. He's trying to take control and be a leader out there. So I think he has a chance to have a really big season for us.
Yeah, and as we mentioned, John and Ronnie back as well. So you've got, what's it like as a defensive coordinator and a guy, as you mentioned, a DB-oriented? You're basically bringing back, 4 of your top 5 corners from a year ago. You add in MJ Emerson to that group, and you're bringing back, your 4 safeties from a year ago.
Right. It's good because it gives you flexibility in the defense and the packages you can put on the field. The thing I have to be careful of is not doing too much, because you want to do different things defensively, but you don't want to do so much that it slows them down. So we'll be a little bit more creative this year with what we do defensively, but at the same time, we're not going to try to do too much.
All right, let's go up to the front of this defense real quickly. Your ends are back. I know you're very happy to get your Devian Clowney back, along with Myles Garrett. Some changes in the middle of the defense, but some of the guys are the same. They're just progressing now. How do you see kind of this defensive front? And really, it's hard to tell in these kind of camps. We'll see that more in training camps again this season, but it's probably nice out there today to see your full 11 guys out there for the first time this offseason.
It was definitely good to see everybody out there. But outside the defensive end position, obviously with Myles and JD out there, that just gives you comfort.
Yep.
Because those 2 guys worked well together last year. And with the guys we brought in some free agents that have some NFL experience that played, also with some of the young guys we drafted. So it's a good mixture there. It'll play itself out through training camp and preseason. And then inside, with Jordan Elliott, he's doing a good job right now. Tommy Togiai is doing a good job. And then with the addition of Taven Bryan, he was a guy I remember we looked at years ago when I was at Denver, and we were really high on him there. But he fits our scheme. And then you have Perrion Winfrey, Sheldon Day. I mean, we have a nice combination of different type of players, but guys that really fit what we're looking for in our system.
How are those 2 youngsters doing? Alex Wright at defensive end, and then Perrion, who is quite a personality on the inside.
Yeah, Alex is learning. I think Cleveland Browns is a little bit different than UAB for him, so I think it's a learning experience. But athletically, he's gifted. He has the size, length, the movement skills that we covet. And then Perrion inside, as you guys know, he brings the energy.
Yeah.
He's a very passionate guy, very long, very powerful. So, again, both of those guys fit what we're looking for in a defensive lineman, and they'll improve as we get into training camp and preseason.
I felt like over the last 10 games of the year, you guys were as good as any defense in the NFL, especially against the pass, and that's what this league has become. As you mentioned, you have flexibility now to do a lot of things, and probably some things people haven't seen yet. When you kind of conceptualize what you want this defense to be and where offenses are going and what they're trying to do, what's kind of that mindset for this season?
Yeah, well, my philosophy has always been is try to make the quarterback beat you on Sunday, not the coordinator during the week. So you want to have enough defense where you can give them a little change up every week. So they're trying to figure it out. Coming back after the success we had last year with the system we put in, it's just we're going to continue to grow in that system, have the flexibility to try to create those looks, create those matchups, just to try to confuse the offense a little bit.
As a defensive guy, how happy are you? Kind of you're going to get your break, but then to come back training camp where you can actually get the pads on and we can start to see what this defense really is going to look like.
Yeah, we'll be excited for that for sure. Now it's just kind of teaching the guys the technique, teaching them the scheme, and you're heading into summer break, so you don't feel that pressure. But once you come back for training camp, then it's real, because everything you're doing is leading up to the regular season. So it'll be good to see where we're at physically. We put the pads on and we get into some run drills and really compete against the offense.
You've been around some great defenses. Just from a potential standpoint, that potential doesn't necessarily mean anything, but does this one have a chance to be special in your mind?
I do. I just think when you have talented players, as long as we can come together as a defense, and play as one of 11, everybody just does their job, then I think we can have the results that we're looking for and be one of the better defenses in the league.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing it. Glad you're running the show on that side of the ball, Coach. Thanks for the time.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, we'll be back with more Cleveland Browns Daily right after this.
Stanley Cup Finals tonight. Can you guess the teams?
Finally.
Lightning.
Oh.
Against.
Boy, I feel like
Edmonton?
Oh.
Well, they were in the Western Final.
They were, so they lost to Colorado.
That's
Dang
it. There you
but
go.
Edmonton had the guy that was like
McDavid.
a superstar.
McDavid, yeah.
And they lost, so I was betting
Yeah.
on that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right,
Yeah.
so Lightning Avalanche.
Yeah.
Lightning going for 3 straight.
They're going
Three
for 3
straight. And they were a
they're
5
chasing.
seed.
They were, but it's a little deceiving.
Okay.
Yeah.
Little sandbagging.
They've been the best team for a while in the league. I mean, they beat Toronto in the first round, which is Toronto was up the whole series, and they beat them in 7 because Toronto can't have nice things.
And then they beat the Rangers.
And they beat the Rangers. They were down 0-2 and beat them. I was worried about that because when Donovan and Donovan loves his hockey, so he was talking about the Rangers and hot goalie. I'm like, Jim, they're going to get smoked by this Lightning team. And they were down 2-0, and I'm like, my God, I don't want to lose my hockey credibility with Donovan. So at least the Lightning won the last 4, so I kept my credibility.
I'm glad you got that right, and it happened while I was gone. But the video of the guy knocking out the Lightning fan, and then obviously,
oh
he's been
God,
like,
gross!
How does this stuff happen? Like
people are idiots.
But what compels somebody to do that?
To punch somebody in a sporting event?
You didn't even just punch. You tried to decapitate him.
Yeah, no, it was awful. If a car, truck, or motorcycle accident caused you injury, call the injury lawyers at 1-800-ELK, Ohio for a free case review. Elk & Elk's proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. We will be at First Energy tomorrow. Gibby, do you have a text?
2 minutes. 2 minutes.
No, I have a weather update right now. It's
okay.
The heat index up to 107 right now outside.
I'll tell you what the Heat's going to be. We just talked to Joe Woods. The Heat's going to be on. Our defense is going to be nasty.
Yes.
I'm calling it right now. I'm planting that flag. This
By the
defense is going to be nasty.
VIP treatment tomorrow for one of the 3 of us. It's not me, and it's not Zegura.
What do I got
going on?
going on?
That be, you get to park underneath the stadium tomorrow.
Oh, my gosh. So that's what's going
rest
to
of
allow
us,
me to get there.
not so
So I
much.
should be able to get there.
Yes.
Where do I go?
You'll go to the East Gate.
Okay.
Just pull in. Give them your name.
East Gate.
Underneath. Right across
where
from the
the-
Science Center parking garage.
Oh, right
You're gonna
there.
park right underneath.
All right, very good. And then
VIP.
I'll make my way up.
Zegura and I will be parking
Steerage.
next to the water.
Hey, that's where I
Sweet.
saw the USS
I'm just saying.
Minneapolis St. Paul was
Yeah.
there.
And there probably going to be about 1,000
1
birds
minute,
that you're
1
gonna get
minute.
to avoid, which I know for you is a good thing.
Not crazy about them
Yeah.
at all. All right, so we will be at the stadium tomorrow.
We
from
will.
1 to 3, and then that'll wrap up mandatory minicamp. Are we going to be in the booth?
We will be in the booth.
That's going to be fun.
I'm putting
That's
us
gonna
in
be
the
a lot
booth because the weather forecast not looking great.
Who knows what that'll be? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so there you have that to look forward to, which is nice. The next level is coming up next. Thanks for listening, everybody. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland.